welcome you to the Utilities Envisioning Center, and this is where we like to show how GIS technology can support the industry's business needs and network challenges. I'm Joe Wirtz. I'm on the business development team, and with me today is Patrick Coles and Tyler Pilarczyk. And our focus today is on how network transformation is being impacted by 5G wireless technology. So we've all been hearing about 5G wireless services now for years, and the wireless carriers are actually starting to offer the service, albeit in limited areas. We're starting to see phones and devices now that are starting to support 5G capability, and there's been a lot of buzz in the industry, for several years. And despite all that hype, I think we can safely say that this new technology is going to have a significant impact on the way we communicate, the way we travel, and then interact with the world around us. But with all the good things that we're hearing about it, there is going to be a cost. There is going to be a price to pay, so to speak. 5G wireless propagation characteristics are just going to require a significant number of new small cell antenna locations being deployed much farther, much deeper in the network. And each one of those small cell sites are going to require a fiber bandwidth connection, obviously, based on the amount of data that will be flowing through them. And just to get those small cells out, to get those fiber connections made, we're going to be digging up a lot of streets and a lot of sidewalks. And that's kind of the focus for our little rundown today, is just exactly where do we need to locate those small cells to get the type of coverage that we need to provide the type of service that we want to deliver to our customers. And then what's the most efficient and effective way to deliver the fiber connections to those? The same technology is going to have a significant impact on the wireless operators themselves and the business drivers that drive that business. For example, 5G services are going to roll out a whole new capability in terms of new digital services that they'll be able to offer to their customers. Those new services are going to open up new revenue streams, new revenue opportunities for the wireless provider, for the device manufacturers, for the network equipment manufacturers. Customers will be becoming more dependent on those services. They're going to be expecting low latency, uninterrupted service. And the operators themselves will need to continually transform and optimize their networks to support the kind of customer experience that they're hoping to deliver. And we believe Esri is in a very good position to support this new paradigm. ArcGIS is an enterprise solution that's well positioned to support the total life cycle transformation of networks. And it starts with a system of record, which you can use to design, manage, and maintain your network assets and services. And then through system of engagement, where you can actually be able to share and deliver that information out more easily across departments and then into the field. And then with a system of insight, you'll be able to make better business decisions by deriving more actionable intelligence out of the data that you manage. So that brings us to our little scenario for today. We're going to try to take a walk through the day in the life of a network planner, use GIS technology to support his 5G network rollout. So first we've got Southern Florida Telecom, or SFT as we like to call them. They're our world-class but fictitious service provider that's based in Hurricane Alley. SFT is tasked with rolling out new 5G services in the footprint that they serve. They need to site those antennas as quickly and efficiently as possible, and then get the fiber connections built to serve all those. And with the number of cell sites that they've got to serve, they're going to have to employ the services of contracting services to help them get all those connections made as quickly as possible. And that's our other group we'd like to introduce today, JCS, or Jack's Contracting Service. So let me turn it over to Patrick.
Thank you, Joe. And hello, everybody. As Joe mentioned, my name is Patrick Coles, and today I am a network planner for Southern Florida Telecom. Now, our organization has tasked my team with some pretty daunting network transformation goals this year. And as a network planner, I know that we have limited CapEx and resources to really help us reach these goals. So our team needs to be more strategic than ever and really understanding where we should invest in these network transformation projects, and specifically where we deploy our 5G small cells and densify our fiber network. Luckily, we've started using ArcGIS and big data spatial analysis to enable our team to see what others can't. Here we have a map of all of our tower locations across the US, which are continually recording statistics on all the mobile transactions made across each wireless sector over the past month. Now obviously this map doesn't tell me a whole lot except that we have a ton of towers. So what I did was use big data spatial analysis tools in ArcGIS to spatially aggregate that information to different sized hexagon bins, creating more of a subscriber behavior map. Now each of these hexagon locations contains a set of summary statistics that show me all the details from the call records or those mobile transactions that fall within that particular area. And as we start to zoom into a certain market and closer to the map, the hexagon sizes start to get smaller, revealing greater and greater detail about our network. So these new insights can really help our network planning team understand which markets we should prioritize for our 5G deployments. But ultimately, I'm not the decision maker for which market we should invest in. So what I've done is configured a dashboard that shows the results of my analysis for my boss. My boss can now see the summaries of all the mobile transactions that have occurred across our network over the past month. Using the map, he can pan and zoom and go right to a particular market, and as he pans and zooms, the summaries start to change based off of the map extent. I've also set up a few preset filters so we can take a look at this information based off of a certain device type, or even take a look at where we might have poor coverage quality and maybe really high latency. So using the map extent and these preset filters, my boss can start to focus in and really see where we should be investing in these network transformation projects. Hello.
Hey Patrick, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Joe?
Doing well, doing well. Hey, I got those dashboards that you sent me, and I tell you, they're incredibly helpful. Based on the information that I'm seeing in those, I want us to go ahead and start to target the downtown Orlando area. What I was able to determine was that we can now really pinpoint exactly where we want to set those small cells to service that first wave rollout. And also bringing in the demographic data, I think we can really start to target exactly what the types of customers that we're going to be looking to support in this initial phase. And then it also turns out that Jack's contracting service actually has personnel already deployed and they're ready to go. So why don't you guys go ahead and focus on that area and let's get started.
All right, great. That sounds good. Thanks, Joe. All right, so the Orlando market has been chosen as our first market to roll out our 5G services. What I'd like to do is some initial propagation analysis on the sites that the city of Orlando has said that we could attach our equipment to. So I'll use the interactive analysis tools within ArcGIS. I'll add in our potential small cell locations, and I'll change a few of the properties of my analysis, and I'll run this viewshed analysis. Now what we'll see are the areas in green which have true viewshed line of sight from each of these towers. The areas of blue have overlapping coverage, and the areas of red which do not have line of sight from these locations. So with these high-level tools, I could start to do some basic propagation analysis without getting our RF team involved. Now, once we have the locations for our 5G small cells, we need to design and build out fiber to each of these sites. Here we have our current central office location and existing fiber network in the Orlando area. We currently don't have any fiber feeding the downtown area. And since we have so many network transformation projects occurring, what we'll want to do is outsource the design and construction of this network using one of our many contractors. Now, I deal with our contractors and design firms all the time. And if any of you deal with them like I do, I'm sure you can relate in saying that it can be a pain in the butt managing all the projects and changes that it can occur during this build out and design process. And if any of you are the contractor, I'm sure you can say the same thing with dealing with your carrier. One of my biggest pain points is the communication with our design firm and the passing of information back and forth between us and the contractor. But here at Southern Florida Telecom, we've implemented a new process that will allow us to better engage with our contractors. We've connected our project management system with ArcGIS and allowed us to track the status of the project and our designs directly within GIS. And using our GIS portal, we can then share that information directly with our contractor. But instead of me going ahead and keep explaining, let me go and just show you how we do this. So the first thing I want to do is create a new project. And I know that we use Jack's contracting services within this area, so I'm going to put JCS directly in the project name for short. And I'll create a new project. Next thing I want to do is take our small cell sites and add them to our project. What we'll see is each of these asset locations is being added to our project. A project boundary is also being created around all of the assets. And in the right-hand side of the widget, we'll notice that the total cost of the project is starting to be calculated. So now that I have my project, I'll just update some additional information to let the contractor know that this will be a fiber design and build-out project. And we'll refresh this. Now, we manage all of our projects in one central database, but we don't want to share all of our project information with all of our contractors. So we've set up a group within our GIS portal specifically for Jack's contracting services. And within this group, we've shared in our existing as-built Orlando network, as well as a view layer of that project and design data. Now, this view layer has a view definition set on it. And what that means is that we have filtered out this data based off of a preset filter. Now that preset filter will only show to Jack's contracting services the data and information if it contains JCS within the project name. So now that we have our project ready to go, we need to let Jack's contracting service know that they can start the initial design for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and give my buddy Tyler over at JCS a call.
This is Tyler.
Hey Tyler, this is Patrick over at Southern Florida Telecom. How you doing?
Hey, doing well. How are you?
Good, good, good. So we've got a new project for you guys to start doing the design and construction for.
Okay.
We've taken the project and we've loaded it up into our GIS portal and shared it directly with you guys. So it should be good to go.
Great. I'll take a look.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. All right, well, over here at JCS, we have our own GIS portal that we use to work on and manage any of the projects we have with our different clients. Now, working with SFT in the past was a bit difficult. So anytime they would assign us a project, they would send us a PDF or even fax us over a map, which of course was super difficult to get into our portal or any of our other maps. But now that they've deployed their own GIS portal, we can leverage portal-to-portal collaboration to work much more efficiently with each other. Now, as an engineer, I have my own app that I use to work on the projects that SFT has assigned to us. I'm going to load in that project that Patrick just assigned to us. Now, what that's going to do is zoom us into our extent. I'm just going to take a step back. And on my left-hand panel, I can see those costs that started to be calculated by the application. Now the first thing I want to do is see where the existing SFT fiber is within this particular area. So here I'll just go ahead and add that layer. Alright, so I can see the existing fiber that leads up to this vault. So now I need to be able to generate or determine how we figure out how we connect these devices back to that vault. Now what we've used is the backhaul optimization solution that ArcGIS offers to find the most effective way to connect these devices to the vault. And here we just access it through a widget. And then when we run that analysis, the results will look something like this. So now that we've generated these routes to connect these small cell devices, I want to make sure I add these to our project. So I'll set it as aerial cable, click on my selection tool, and then I will copy those features into the project. And like what we saw before, as it's adding those features to the project, we'll start to see those red dashed lines start to appear. And then my costs have been calculated here on the left-hand side. And looking at the map, we can also see that my project boundary has evolved to be able to enclose those new lines. Now before I do any other work, I'm going to go into our project summary and just change our job status to our initial design. That way any of us at JCS or at Southern Florida Telecom can know that we're in the design phase. I now need to be able to verify that these routes were proposed and can actually be deployed as they're designed here. Now we could do that in a couple different ways. Remotely, I can leverage some Esri partner widgets that allow us to view street level imagery across our route. So for example, I can leverage this widget by Mapillary that allows us to see that street level imagery in collaboration with our map. So as we go across the route here, we can see if there's any red flags that we can identify. Another partner widget we have is Cyclomedia. So once I zoom in a bit closer, I can see different viewpoints and angles along my route. Again, to be able to determine if there's any other red flags that I can point out here through the imagery. Now even with these widgets, we're still going to want to send someone out into the field to make that final verification for us. So now I'm going to hand it out to our field technicians who are already working out in the field and assign them that task. Alright, so now it's Tyler, the field technician. I've been working out in the field and I just got a new assignment from my boss asking me to verify that we can deploy these fiber cables as intended. So here I'm with Collector for ArcGIS, and the first thing I'm going to do is open up my project boundary. I'm going to change that status once again. There we go. So now that everyone knows we're in the design walkout phase, I'm going to actually walk out these lines. Now one thing I noticed is that this part of Robinson Street doesn't have the poles that we need to be able to deploy an aerial cable on. So instead we're going to actually go around that area and connect us back with our original route. Now to indicate that, I'm going to go back into our job feature there on the left and go under our related layers and add in a new sketch area. I'm just going to close that area we want to avoid. I'll give the job reference number. And then I'll give it a nice label. Now, of course, I can add in some other comments if I want to provide some more detailed information. And the last thing I'll do is, since I'm already out in the field and I can essentially take a picture of what I'm experiencing out here, I can just attach that here. All right, everyone smile. Yay, happy people. Go ahead and attach that, and I'll submit it back to the office. There we go. It's taking my features and my attachment. Okay, and now I want to be able to mark down that route that I would take based off what I'm seeing out here. So this time I'm going to go to my sketch line. I'm going to have a start at that intersection. And I'll take us around. There we go. I'm going to include my job reference once again. And I'll give it another label. There we go. And I might as well take a picture of this route. All right, everyone smile. Lovely people. Got some good pictures out in the field, I'll tell you that much. Okay, attached. Send that back to the office. There we go. And now I walked out the rest of my route. Everything looks great. I'm going to let my boss know that we're all good to go. Okay, now back in the office, I can see the map notes that were collected out in the field. I can tell, okay, it looks like this part of the area is not going to be valid. It's because it's an invalid route. And if I take a look, oh, that doesn't look good. So we're going to definitely want to avoid that. And if I go here, all right, well, I believe them. I think that's a really good route to use. What I'm going to do now is go into my markup tools, and I'm going to change those red dashed lines that are representing our aerial cable, and I'm just going to wrap them around those map notes that were created. Okay, now that they're in place, go ahead and save that. Perfect. If I load this project, I'll make sure they got in okay. Yep, here we go. I can see the cost has been updated. I'm now ready to send this back to SFT for them to take a look. So let me go ahead and give Patrick a call again.
Hello.
Hey, Patrick, it's Tyler.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, doing well. So we got your project. We created an initial design for it, and then we actually had someone go out into the field and walk it out for us in a matter of 5 minutes. So it's been a very effective project for us. But I was hoping you could take a look and see if this would be something you would agree with, and we can continue with the design.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put you on speakerphone and take a look.
Okay.
So I'm going to search for the project, JCS, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll zoom in. Okay, yep, I do see the initial design information, some map notes from the fields, and I'll pull up the project information. I do see the total cost of the project and some added costs there. But this is still well under our allocated budget for this project. So why don't you and your team go ahead with the final design?
Okay, we'll get to work.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, so using portal-to-portal collaboration and the view layers, Southern Florida Telecom was able to more easily communicate and engage with their contractors, really allowing this project to stay on time and on budget. And you know who really cares about staying on time and on budget is this guy.
So as a project manager for Southern Florida Telecom, my job's on the line every day to make sure that we're meeting our construction targets on time and on budget. And a dashboard like this can be incredibly helpful for helping me to ascertain a kind of the status of where we are with our work. So with the interactive maps and, like say, going over here to the job list, I can quickly zoom into a particular area and then get all the associated statistics about what's going on with the project at that time. So a dashboard like this can be incredibly helpful for us to make sure that we're managing our projects and accomplishing our company's goals. So let me quickly summarize what we've went through. First of all, Patrick was able to pull together a variety of different data sets in the beginning using some 3D analyst and strategic planning tools to quickly ascertain where to site new small cells. Then using portal-to-portal collaboration, SFT was able to effectively communicate with their contractors to deliver the information they needed at the time they needed it, and to get the data back from them to support the project status. And then finally, leveraging dashboards, we were able to keep our executive management team and other peer departments on track with where we are with our overall project goals. So let me turn it over to Patrick, who will walk you through the various products that were involved in each step of this workflow.
Yeah, so we saw quite a bit going on throughout that entire process. Initially, we saw the strategic planning and looking at a lot of big data, really leveraging geoanalytics server and a new offering, the big data toolkit, to allow us to do that analysis directly within an existing big data environment. Then running some of that analysis within Pro, creating those maps, publishing them up into our portal, and configuring the analysis results in a dashboard for management teams to be able to see. Then during the contractor engagement, really using Web Application Builder and the new cost analysis widget to start planning the project and costing it out. Then with the new portal-to-portal collaboration and view layers, being able to share that information with another portal and having some filters set based off of that particular contractor. And then when Tyler took over and did the desktop survey and the walkout survey, again using Web Application Builder, pulling those view layers in from the portal-to-portal collaboration, and starting to leverage things like the backhaul optimization tool to optimize the routing of those initial routes. And then taking that information out into the field to do the walkout and sketch up map notes and make any changes to that design. And then the areas that we didn't focus on were the remaining parts of the process, which would be the detailed design, the permitting, and the construction, which ArcGIS can definitely support with a variety of apps and solutions, as well as the many partners that are here this week as well. And then finally, throughout the entire process, really leveraging, again, kind of the portal-to-portal collaboration and pulling that information into different dashboards to ensure that the project really stayed on track and getting our management team some insight in where we were. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Joe, to close this out.
So ArcGIS is well positioned for network transformation, but it can also support your other key business initiatives that you have going on within your service provider environment. New projects around resource optimization, targeting new revenue growth opportunities, making sure you're supporting your customer experience initiatives, and also enabling new digital services. So how do you get started? Where do you go next? Well, first of all, I'd suggest head down the aisle here to the Utilities Showcase. We've got a couple telco kiosks set up. We'll have product experts there that can talk to you about your business needs, your solutions, and dive in a little bit deeper. Also, make sure that you make your way over to the Spatial Analysis and Data Science section, where you can learn more about Big Data Toolkit and the other advanced analytical tools that you might leverage to support many of these workflows. And then finally, be sure to visit our many good business partners that are supporting the telecommunications industry, including Cyclomedia and Mapillary, who are highlighted here in our UC presentation today. And also, make sure you spend time with your peer customers in the industry and learn more about how they've been able to tackle different challenges that they have within their business.